This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
Well, this is Saturday, March 24th, and you good people have indeed entered overtime. 30 minutes of rich, velvety local sports coverage, hand-scooped and lovingly delivered to you by the baldest man in all of Tri-State television. That's me. Not to mention the fine people at Con Communications, and we thank you for that. Now, I like to think of sports as the dessert course of your newscast, and what idiot among us doesn't love dessert? So what we've done here is got rid of all that good-for-you news and weather information you can count on and replaced it with nothing but guilty pleasure highlight goodness. And tonight, our sumptuous spread of spring delights includes all 4 spring food groups: soccer, softball, baseball, and track and field, and some volleyball as well. But we will start tonight on the pitch, Quincy Notre Dame. Boy, this is a good soccer program. Macomb, a bit overmatched as Shannon Foley, the all-stater, lets fly early on in the home debut for the Lady Raiders. That first goal of the season gets her team off on the right foot, thanks to her right foot. Then, how about Jordan Furricks with the cross? Is there nothing Miss Furricks can't do? She finds Cassidy Foley, who hits the nice bucket right there, with a nice shot, I should say, with the one-timer, makes it 2-0. More passing right here. Carrie Ann Steinbrecher hooks up with that young lady, Jordan Furricks, yet again. It is Cassidy Foley yet again. Reverse, pivot, and in. The fire is good. It's 3-0 at that point. The Lady Raiders in cruise control. Prettiest goal of the game comes courtesy right here of Shannon Foley off the beautiful assist from Gracie Barnes. A little sliding one-timer, if you will, makes it 4-0. Abby Grog going to punctuate our highlights right here as Quincy Notre Dame leaves no doubt against Macomb. Grog with the goal right there. Quincy Notre Dame with a rather impressive and lopsided win today. The Lady Raiders now with 2 straight wins to open the season. The Quincy Blue Devils at home today for a pair in their kickoff tournament. 4 different Blue Devils score in the nightcap as Quincy High beats Moberly 4-0. Earlier in the day, Travis Dinkheller's team was hosting the Purple Raiders of the Big 12 Conference. That, my friends, is Bloomington. And we take you to those highlights where it would be the Blue Devils jumping out and looking good early in this one. All Quincy High, all the time. The first 30 minutes, very telling for the Blue Devils in this match. As we go to the highlights, we pick it up right here. 0-0 early. The Blue Devils working for the cross right here. It would actually hit the crossbar, but that's not going to stop Anna Leenert. You saw her feature here at KHQA earlier this week. She's back from the concussion issues, and she has a head for the ball right there and a foot that works equally well. More to come right here. Kaylee Kuhlman is probably poised to have a really huge season. She is an emerging star. You see her here hit the goal right there. But the big story on the day for the Blue Devils, free kicks. They were great off the restart. Mia McNay needing no help on this one, as she's going to punch one right in off the hands of the keeper. Then it's Mia McNay setting up teammates. This time Jordan Eisenberg, I should say, who knocks one home right here off the misplay by the keeper from Bloomington. All Blue Devils as they sweep the tournament today, winning this game 5-0. 9-0, they outscore the opposition and looked very good in doing so and picking up the big win. Well, for the last 2 years, the Quincy High softball program has bit the bullet and played a roster largely made up of underclassmen. The payoff for all these growing pains now seems to be in the offing. Preseason prognosis on the Blue Devils is about as promising as we've seen for this program in a long time. Could they keep it up? Today taking on Griggsville Perry in the first of 3 games for themselves in a cluster today. It also featured, as I mentioned, the Tornadoes, Jacksonville, and Pleasant Plains. Early on, though, it would be Griggsville Perry jumping out early in this game. Rachel Smith right here opening things up with a double down the line. The Tornadoes threatening. Marley Jo Bradshaw would make good on that threat right here, delivering the RBI single right back up the middle. Blue Devils leading 1-0. Mariah Hoke would extricate herself from any further trouble, quelling any further uprising with a strikeout here. Mackenzie Vos gave up an early run on a wild pitch. She too would settle in nicely, getting the strikeout here as well. Pretty much for the second and third innings, it was a case of Vos and Hoke cruising in this one. 1-1 it would stay until the Blue Devils start scratching out some runs. Alexis Eichel-Schulte puts this ball in play, and it would be Griggsville Perry throwing it away as Andrea Ashman scores at that point. Makes it 2-1 at that point. More to come right here. Jonah Godshaw right here doing some great work right here, putting the ball in play. Marley Bradshaw, great defensive play, great out, but the fielder's choice nets another run, making it 3-1. Kelsey Sargent would try to carve into that margin. She hits a triple. It would score a run. There was kind of a running misplay or miscue at third base. Still, the Tornadoes able to scratch one out, making it 3-2. Eric Hoch's team would respond. A perfectly placed bunt right here by Brittany Landwehr sets up the perfectly executed squeeze play. Blue Devils go up to stay in this one. They end up winning this one by the final count of 5-3. A day of mixed results otherwise for the Blue Devils, as they would lose to Plains 12-3, but bounce back and beat Jacksonville. Final count in that one in the nightcap was 8-1. Paige Owsley with 3 RBIs there. The rest of the day's action, Plains over Jacksonville 7-1. Jacksonville would bounce back and beat Griggsville Perry 6-5. Then your upset of the day, Griggsville Perry, its best game of the season, beats Plains by the final count in this one of 10-9 to move forward. Also today on the docket, we had Beardstown against North Fulton. It would be Beardstown winning 4-3 as Kate Hance had herself a heck of a day. 2 for 3 at the plate, couple of RBIs in the offing as well. Princeville and West Prairie, a split first game all to Princeville with a shutout 3-0. Second game, a nice victory for Paige Webster and the Cyclones as Miss Webster hits a triple and drives in a couple of runs in that victory for her team to get the split. Quincy Notre Dame at home playing a pair today, spotting Alleman a 4-0 lead, then bouncing back with 8 runs in the 5th. Ari Rigg, just a huge day, not only in this game, but on the day overall. We take you to highlights of the earlier game against Harvard, the second time in a row. This is Ari Rigg with Tori Kuhn standing on second base, about to drive her home. Rigg not only with the RBI right here, she also added a 2-run homer later in the game to help cap the victory. More to come in this one. Actually, this frame right here would have been worse if it were not for the outstanding play against Mary Beth Hugenberg of the left fielder from Harvard. Look at the full extension. That, my friends, would be sensational 7-worthy if Harvard was anywhere near our viewing area. Later, Billy Gingenbacher with a nice RBI triple right here to score a run. Aubrey Wilson would take advantage of all the run support. She got 13 runs worth of support. She'd post a 13-3 victory today as the Raiders get it done, winning that game by the final count of 13-3. 3 straight wins this weekend for the Raiders, who improved to 5-0 on the season. We've got some baseball scores for you today. It was Quincy High getting swept at the O'Fallon Quad, losing to the host team 1-0, and then dropping a 10-run rule loss to Sterling 13-3. Bad day as well for the Illini West offense. Just 3 hits and a doubleheader combined for Todd Porter's team. Sherrard wins 7-0 and 5-1. Upset of the day goes to Unity, which beat Pittsfield 9-8. And in Missouri, Knox County fell by Novinger 5-1 was your final there. 2 games of a doubleheader today between West Hancock and Western. Austin Hardy on the hill, one of the twin aces for the Titans in game number 1. He had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. That's why we call him an ace. Paxton Harmon, the other of those aces, trying to help his buddy out right here with a triple to set the table in the bottom of the 5th for Trevor Knipe, who's going to jump up and help himself out big time. He would come in relief of Austin Hardy, throw 2 flawless innings. He also had this RBI rip in an 11-3 victory in game number 1 for his team. We have highlights of game number 2 coming your way. Toot sweet. In fact, right now, Austin Hardy going to step up in the top of the 1st because his team was the visitor in the top of the 1st, despite the fact they were at home, with a single, which would set the table for Kendall Summers. RBI rip for that young man right here, right back up the middle to plate Hardy. 1-0 at this point. Western's going to answer back in the bottom of the frame. It is the freshman, Evan Earhart, going to step in, just kind of hit the gap wedge right here, which lands neatly in to score a run, ties the game up at 1 apiece. Will be the last run of the day for Western. Not so, however, for West Hancock. Western still threatening in this frame. Kendall Summers going to show off the huge arm behind the plate to get the strike at second base to get the man caught stealing. And then here comes the fun offensively. Jordan White with the RBI single. That, my friends, would set the table for more later in the frame. Kendall Summers yet again going to show off the furious bat that he wields, a little furious aluminum from that young man. An RBI double, and then Coy Dorothy would step up and hit an RBI single as well, as the runs just kept compiling. The big story in this one, Colin Dooley with a grand slam as the Titans win in a blowout today. Final count in this one ends up being 15-1 in the second game after the 11-3 victory earlier. Let's move on now and let's talk about a sport of a little different color. The track and field slate opened for us this afternoon in America's hometown with a nice smattering of competitors from both sides of the Mississippi. Much of the attention today focused on the field events, with a couple of defending state champions in the mix like Hannibal's Jake Crenshaw. But for our purposes, today's meet was also a bit of a high-class pole vaulting summit. More on that in a second. First, the aforementioned Jake Crenshaw, defending state champion in the disc. His second throw of the day would be his best. He went 156 feet. That, my friends, a very quality throw, good enough for the win today. His stiffest competition, both in the shot and in the disc, may come from his own teammate, this guy, Connor Brown. Is there nothing Mr. Brown can't do? Outstanding two-way football player, not a bad basketball player, and a great throw right here. That's a good internal rivalry. Two great guys, part of a really good Pirate track and field team. Also part of that team, Christian Locke, who was really good at the pole vault last year, wants to win a state championship this year. My goodness, he took third in this event today, which tells you just how quality the pole vaulting was there today. He went 13-6. Meanwhile, in second place, Rushville Industries' Dalton Plummer, who was in 10th place last year at state in Class 2A in the pole vault. He finishes here by clearing 14 feet, and he's all pumped up about his jump today. It's just not going to be good enough to win because Mike Grindy made his presence felt yet again. You knew Monroe City would have a pole vaulter here yet again somewhere. Grindy great last year. He's going over 14-6 here today. Nearly cleared 15 feet for early in the season. Phenomenal. Great day for Mike Grindy and for Monroe City as he is your champion. Monroe City with lots to be proud of pole vaulting wise for yet another season. One other score to pass along. Congratulations to the Blue Devil tennis team today, which finished third at the Rock Island Invitational, beating Sterling Newman in the third place match. The doubles team of Hayashi and O'Connor went 3-0 on the day, which tells you those guys are really poised for another big run this season and another run back at state. And we've got more for you straight ahead. Quincy University Volleyball seeks to prove last night's win over defending national champion Ohio State was no fluke. Those highlights coming up next.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar, brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. When you are the defending national champions and the 10th ranked volleyball team in the entire nation, you don't take any losses lightly. But the indignity of being the Ohio State University and dropping a game to Quincy University, well, that ratchets up the Buckeye bile factor to a whole different degree. And we saw that tonight as the Hawks tried to make it two straight on back-to-back nights against the Buckeyes. Bad news early. OSU already up 1-0 when they set up here for the kill. And it, my friends, is effective. Quincy University, I should say, needing a comeback. They started strong here in the form of an ace from Joe Asher for the early lead. Then Ohio State serving, and after a short rally, Stephen Battaglia, who was big last night, comes up right here to put down the kill against the Buckeyes, who are powerless to get on the ground and stop it. But the teams trading points, OSU trying to kill some momentum at that point, and they would do so rather effectively, getting the kill going cross-court right here. So the Hawks tried to establish a lead. They do so with a great spike right here, coming up courtesy of Ryan Lehman, who's going to throw that down. That, my friends, is highlight reel worthy. Here's a big point, though. The Buckeyes serving, and Quincy University, try as it might, cannot get the kill. They will settle for a big block, though, and a stuff followed by Andy Oano right here, and he's kind of fired up, as well he should be. However, Quincy University cannot complete and pick up on that momentum as Ohio State sends a message tonight, winning in 3 straight. Still great weekend for Hawk volleyball, and a sign that Coach Foster's team is really a growing entity. They get the split on the weekend with Ohio State, again, your defending national champion and your number 10 ranked team in the nation. Good stuff for the Hawks this weekend. More for you. Let's talk some track and field at the Wildcat Open in Culver today. Canton native Shelby Roberts with a great showing running for Culver Stockton in the sprints today. She had a finish of 3rd place in the 100-yard dash and 4th in the 200 meters. So congratulations to her. Also congratulations to Wildcat champions today. They included Logan Homer, who set a new school record in the high jump, as well as some of the throwers, Mason DeMoth, John McBride, and Ruthie Wheelock, all with wins in their respective events. We've got baseball for you today, a day of mixed results for the Quincy University Hawks at home against Northern Kentucky. Brian Burwell was just flat good. After giving up 2 runs early, he gave up nothing the rest of the day. 5-hitter, only those 2 early runs allowed, but he should have sued his team today for criminal lack of support offensively as he ends up losing despite pitching a gem. A 2-0 decision for him in game number 2 of the doubleheader. Game number 1 went a little better for the Hawks today as Matt McDaniel scattered 6 hits and struck out 3 in a win. Brian Thompson comes in relief, picks up already his 7th save of the season, doing great work out of the back end of the bullpen as the Hawks get the split against Northern Kentucky. Quincy University back home tomorrow. Our Ross Green will have the highlights coming up for you on the big Sunday night show. Also in baseball today, Western Illinois with a nice win over Xavier. Dustin Hunter, A masterful pitching performance on the day as he picks up the win, strikes out 9 in the offing as the Leathernecks get the big win right there. John Wood Baseball looking to extend its win streak today. Already up 5-0 on Spoon River, and Ben Stewart, who has been a hitting machine this season, gets the line single right back up the middle to put runners at first and second. That would set up Mr. Zach Roberts. Going to find a gap in left center field right here to play both of those runs. John Wood up 7-0 at this point. Cody King was really sharp on the hill in this one today as the one-time Kirksville Tiger product gets the strikeout here to end the frame. John Wood with a pair of wins today to improve to 15-0 on the season. No, actually, I should say a 15-game winning streak as they win 13-1 in this game. Earlier in the day, also a win. I believe the earlier game was Nolan Kerfman, the former Quincy High product, winning, I believe that final was 3-0 or 3-1. I'll double check that for you. I think those scores transpose. But again, a win for Kerfman. That's the important part of the storyline there. We've got some softball scores to pass along today. Western Illinois' win streak comes to an end at the hands of Southern Utah, 11-6 in extra innings. Quincy University goes to UMSL today and splits. Ashley Rossetti with the only RBIs of the day as her team beats UMSL 2-1 on the road, and then just ugly second game for the Lady Hawks as they lose that one 7-0. Culver Stockton today swept by number 20th ranked Evangel 9-1 in softball, and then in the second game 10-2. The good story there, Griggsville Perry's Rhea Hobson with a home run and a couple of RBIs in a losing cause. John Wood today swept by Heartland, a very good Heartland program with a couple of Beardstown products involved. 14-0 and 7-0 were your finals there. Well, it's that time again, kids. Every week in this spot, we will salute an outstanding sports coupling as your Con Communication Connection nominee of the week. And at the end of the month, you simply need to go to connecttristates.com. The end of the month is coming, and vote for your favorite of the 4 highlight producers. And simply by voting, you become eligible to win a very nice prize package. So our 4th and final connection of the month comes courtesy of Tori Kuhn, who is going to hit as long and big and nasty and far a home run as you will see. No park would hold this one, probably not even Yellowstone. She just absolutely cranked it. We're going to show it to you again. You're going to see this ball kind of travel through the ether right here. Tori Kuhn, just an absolute monster shot. Another home run for her. Good stuff right there. Your Con Communications Connection of the week and maybe of the month if you voted so. Let's take a look back at your 4 nominees for this month, and later this week you can go to connecttristates.com and vote on them. If you like Garrett Serban's outstanding pass, and remember that's a big man doling out and playing point center. From Canton, you can vote for him. You can vote for Jessica Grimes' game-winning home run for the Quincy University Lady Hawks earlier this month. Or if you're a fan of basketball, yet again, you can vote for Payson Seymour's Aaron Edwards, who last week in the WBBA All-Star Game made that phenomenal steal and pass from his backside to Dalton Hoover. So that was good stuff as well. And then, of course, the monster home run by Tori Kuhn. Your pick, my friends. And again, if you vote, you have a chance to win. So we wish you well in that endeavor. By the way, also want to pass along our congratulations to one of our buddies. Michael Williams of Monroe City was the winner of Hoops Madness the 3rd round with an amazing 64 points, which actually tied for the national lead. Unfortunately, Michael didn't win the tiebreaker, or he would have won a huge prize package of national goodies, I think from Fathead. But instead, he'll win a prize package from us and still alive and kicking in the contest for the big prize as well by virtue of all those points. I, on the other hand, have absolutely stunk at March Madness yet again. That's what you get.